You're listening to the Chiropractic Connection, a podcast by chiropractors for chiropractors. This month, we would like to highlight some of our best interview moments. Meanwhile, our segment speakers would like to emphasize the importance of fellow staff members within our clinics. I won't keep you long, so sit back, relax, and let's get connected.
This episode is brought to you by myself, Dr. Jonathan Newton, and North Atlanta Spine and Pain Care, located in East Point and the Smyrna Marietta area. As a pain management physician doing injections, I have been working closely with chiropractors for the last decade to ensure the best outcomes for our patients. Your patients will always be your patients. As a proud gold sponsor of the Georgia Chiropractic Association, we look forward to your referrals so you can be at peace knowing we're on your side. To refer a patient to North Atlanta Spine and Pain Care, please email pireferrals@gmail.com. That's pireferrals@gmail.com.
Have you ever wondered what makes chiropractic? We don't always have the answers, but it never hurts to imagine.
Hello, fellow GCA members. Dr. Eric Plasker here with a March philosophy in action, and hope your new year is starting off rapidly, helping lots of people. Man, this community, your community, our communities, our state needs chiropractic care more than ever. And today's topic, we're going to talk about hiring. And we have always, at our company, the Family Practice, the 100-Year Lifestyle, we have always followed the principles in Jim Collins' great book, Good to Great, where he says, getting the right people on the bus and the wrong people off the bus is vital to your business, your practice, your company growing like crazy and taking your practice from good to great. He also said that be slow to hire and quick to fire. If the wrong people are on the bus, you've got to get them off the bus. It's not okay just to have a body. And listen, in chiropractic, we have such an important message, such an important time to deliver our care. And there are so many people out there that are looking for meaningful, purposeful jobs. You know, it used to be that, even just 5, 6, 7 years ago, it was great to find people that were purposeful, looking for meaningful work, that were aligned. They were aligned with your vision of what you wanted to do. And they were a little bit harder to find. But we're finding today that more and more people are looking for meaningful work. They are stuck in jobs where the belief system of the company is not aligned with what they stand for. They have skills. They want to apply their skills in a way that is meaningful, where their life matters, where they feel like they're contributing in a way that can really make a difference. And if you put your ads out there like this, if you put it out to your community, to your patients, to anybody that is in your life, that, hey, do you know anybody that's looking for meaningful work? Well, what are you looking for? Well, you want to look for 3 things, actually. You want to look for vision, skills, and compensation. So very briefly, vision, let's talk about it. You want people that are aligned with your vision. Doesn't mean they have to have had massive chiropractic experience in the past, but if deep down they know, you know what, I'm looking for something, I'm sick of the medical system, I'm sick of this or that or the other thing, I really believe that, this is a better way to be healthy rather than waiting until you get sick. Whatever it is that your vision is, look for people that communicate that is the vision that they're looking for. So vision, really, really important. Skills. It's not enough just to have vision. If you have vision with no skills, you're going to have a lot of happiness and a lot of fun, but nothing's going to get done, or it's going to get done wrong. So you need vision and skills. If you have all skills and no vision, then you may have a practice that 6 months, 9 months, and a year, you say, where did our soul go? Because you lost your soul in just the mundane tasks of somebody just doing a job. So you want vision and you want skills, and you also want to make sure that you have a compensation pattern that works for that person. If you are paying somebody too little, they're going to look for something more. If you're paying somebody too much, then you're going to ultimately resent it if they're not producing the way that you think that role should be producing. So hiring is a big deal. It's really, really important. So follow these simple principles to really put your philosophy, your chiropractic philosophy in action. There has never been a more exciting time to build a practice, to grow a practice, to help more people. I know with the 100-year lifestyle, we're helping people grow by literally $20, $30, $40, $50, $60,000 a month or more, getting lots more people into lifetime chiropractic care. We want to help you too. So we're proud to be sponsors of GCA, proud to be a GCA member. And lastly, we have a new seminar coming up May 4th and 5th at Life University. It is a blockbuster pioneering seminar called Healthy Longevity and Chiropractic from Birth to 100 Years and Beyond. The healthy longevity movement is in full swing, and the 100-year lifestyle has been leading this movement literally for decades, not just in Georgia, but literally in the world in so many ways, with our books, videos, content, etc. So we hope to see you there. If you want to register, put in 50 off and the registration as a coupon code. You'll save $50 for being a GCA member. And we're excited to have a great year. I want to welcome our new executive director, Tim Gross, and the great team there doing a fantastic job moving chiropractic forward in the state of Georgia. So thanks for listening, everybody. Reach out anytime, 100yearchiropractors.com, Dr. Plasker at 100yearlifestyle.com. Look forward to seeing you in an upcoming event and talking to you soon.
Who doesn't like a moment to shine in the spotlight? GCA is always ready to give our members a shout out.
This month, we would like to spotlight two of GCA's most well-known chiropractic assistant members, Ms. Lori Simpson and Audrey Wheatley. Like two peas in a pod at every conference, you never see these two ladies apart. Audrey has been a member of GCA for 13 years and a business manager for Trinity Wellness Center in Jonesboro, Georgia. She is a certified coder, chiropractic assistant, and medical assistant, and has an associate's degree in business management. With over 30 years of medical field experience, Audrey helps lead GCA's annual Advanced Chiropractic Assistant class. Lori Simpson is the Director of Operations at Park Ridge Wellness Center and has also led classes with GCA's Advanced Chiropractic Assistant class. With over 30 years of experience as well, Lori has worked in private office and seminar settings and has served as a standardized patient and proctor for the National Board of Chiropractic Examiners. Thank you, Lori Simpson and Audrey Wheatley, for all your hard work in supporting GCA and your clinics.
What better way to make every day your day than by learning how to treat yourself? Here is today's wellness tips.
Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Patience Canty. Thank you for joining us on the Georgia Chiropractic Association podcast. On this month's segment, we'll be discussing how we can boost staff morale. One way to boost staff morale is by improving communication and transparency among team members. There's a few ways to accomplish this, but first and foremost, we have to create an open environment where team members feel comfortable sharing their concerns, their thoughts, and ideas. One way to do this is to establish a regular team meeting or to hold more frequent feedback sessions. In these sessions, staff members should be allowed to share what's on their mind while also listening to decisions that have been made, goals for the office, and even challenges that the office may be going through. By doing this, this builds an atmosphere of trust, it keeps employees engaged, and fosters a great connection between the doc and the staff. The second way to boost staff morale is by implementing moments of recognition and rewards for hard work. It's really important to make this specific to the employee. Some people prefer public recognition and others prefer more private praise. And it's really important to figure out, based on your individual staff members, what's going to be the best motivating factor for them. This could be an option to use gift cards, rewards, and other forms of different incentives based off of their own interests and likes. Maybe this is bonuses, perhaps paid time off. You know your employees best and you know what's going to get them motivated. The third thing that's important to note when boosting staff morale is cultivating and promoting work-life balance. This can show up in a variety of ways. First, by setting clear boundaries, not requiring staff to answer emails after hours, having clear-cut hours so that people are not wondering when the workday ends and when it begins, and if they're going to require to do things outside of normal office hours. Making sure that if they are required to do that, that it's very clear-cut when those times are, so that they will be able to have the best work-life balance. Another thing to do is to encourage them to use time off, so that they can refill their cup, so that they come back 100% to be successful in the office. And then the fourth way to boost staff morale is going to be to provide opportunities for professional development and growth. Now, this can show up in a variety of ways. One of my favorite ways to do this is to allow the staff to partake in trainings, various workshops, and seminars. And so perhaps your office is a part of a practice management group. Consider taking your team members to those quarterly conferences with you, so that they can also gain insight into how to increase their skill set. Another thing would be to perhaps enroll them into some sort of training program. As you know, the GCA offers an advanced chiropractic assistant program, which would be an awesome opportunity to get your staff involved with a GCA. Another thing would be to invite them to various networking events, so that they have a wide range of people to connect with outside of the office. Perhaps they meet someone in a similar position to them, and they're able to gain insight into how things are done in another office, and perhaps that's something you guys could implement at your own. At the end of the day, we want to create an environment where employees feel valued, that they are empowered to contribute to the success in meaningful ways for the office. And by implementing the 4 steps we just discussed, you'll be well on your way to doing that. Thank you all again for listening to us here on the GCA podcast, and we can't wait to talk with you all next time.
Why choose Barber Orthopedics and Spine over a traditional hospital? Our award-winning orthopedic surgeons specialize in all parts of the body. We utilize cutting-edge technology with the most modern advances in medicine. We are on a mission with you to address your totality. We treat the person, not just the symptoms. Your wait is always 15 minutes or less because we value your time. We are privately owned, and we get you the personal VIP treatment you won't get anywhere else. We are a proud partner of the Georgia Chiropractic Association and offer our support to the entire chiropractic community. Barber Orthopedics and Spine. Exceptional care you can count on.
And now for the moment everyone has been waiting for, starring this month's experts.
So we get, because we have Imran in New Zealand at the Centre for Chiropractic Research at the New Zealand College of Chiropractic, because he is such an incredible bioengineer, we actually get quite a few bioengineering students doing their master's projects. They come out and do their thesis with us. So we just recently had 4 Danish bioengineering students all working on AI projects. So we give them the data, and then they do this AI analysis on the data set. So one of the sets of data we had is, we have this other French bioengineer who came out and did his PhD with us. So he recorded high density EMG, so like several hundred channels of EMG over the erector spina muscles from T12 to the top of the sacrum. So all the erector spina muscles on both sides. The chiropractor would come in and say exactly where between T12 and S1 they were subluxated. They actually checked the whole spine. And so they noted where the subluxations were. We've got all this high density EMG data. We've also got movement. So we've got the 3D motion capture analysis system, so we can get very good motion capture of their movement, so we can monitor it. So what we gave one of the groups of these bioengineering students out from Denmark was, we gave them all the high density EMG data during forward flexion. We actually had all the other movements as well. So we've got lateral flexion and twisting and bending, but just forward flexion, high density EMG data from their whole erector spina muscle. So this is a lot of data. You've got like 300, 400 channels of EMG data over time during that movement. well, what they sort of said is that the chiropractor has identified where their subluxations. Can the AI data pick up on areas where it's different from the rest? So it's like, so they split it into 4, and they said there's upper left, upper right, lower left, lower right. And it was almost a 1-to-1 correlation. So if they were subluxated in the upper left, the AI, the data picked up on it, 1-to-1, almost like 100% correlation. And so then they started splitting it up into more and more segments. And Amber, the computer could find the subluxated segment that had been identified by the chiropractor almost down to the segmental level.
Wow.
So again, you talk about pseudoscience, like it's there. And this is the kind of projects that we can work on at the moment. Like this was just to give them something to do.
Right.
Like, but and it's like, it's incredible. So imagine now, like, 10 years from now, there will be equipment that can sort of just run down the spine, a bit like the subluxation station, where it's actually identifying, look, here's an area where it's been, subluxated for quite some time, or here's a new subluxation, because again, we know these changes take place over time. So if you've got a atrophied area, it is going to be different. It's going to be giving off different electrophysiological signals around that area, especially during movement. And that's just touching the surface of what we're doing. I think currently we have 65 projects on the go, so we could be here for hours just talking about what I'm currently working on. There's so much, but we could have a session 2 and a session 3 and a session 4. I enjoyed talking to you.
Absolutely. This will not be our last time talking to each other. We'll definitely have part 2s and 3s and 4s. Definitely, you'll be our resident researcher. So we'll have to bring you back every couple months and see what's going on. Are you coming to the States? Are you coming to the States anytime soon?
I am, as of May, allowed back into the country.
What do you mean? Did we kick you out? They didn't let you in?
Non-citizens had to be vaccinated. So
I didn't know.
I haven't been allowed into the US for the last 3 years, 4 years, I don't know, however long. So yeah. So I am, as of May, I think Biden has dropped the vaccine requirements for non-citizens. So that's me, obviously.
I totally missed that. I didn't even think about how that would affect people who weren't vaccinated outside the country. But I didn't even realize that.
I missed out on Cleveland's 100-year celebration because I was meant to be keynote speaking at that. I was invited to Palmer's 125th celebration as a speaker. And so I was like, oh. But, my health is more important than...
Absolutely.
I'm off in a week. I'm off to Hong Kong, and then I'm off to Europe, where I think I'm speaking in England, in Spain, in Iceland, potentially Italy, and potentially Norway. So really looking forward to all of that. So I'm back on the road again for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And now that I am able to get to the US, I'm hoping that will pick up soon as well. So yeah.
I'm sure it will. We've been missing you over here. So
I've been missing you.
You find out, I know, when you find out, you let us know. So we'll have to let everybody know, because I'm sure your fans, they're going to love to hear you and come see you. So
I'll be there. And in the meantime, they can go listen to me on Kairos Academy, because I have got lots of classes on Kairos Academy. Do check it out.
Perfect. We will make sure to drop all the links. Heidi Havoc, thank you so much. Thank you. Really, really appreciate it. It's been an absolute pleasure and an honor. It's been incredible. Go buy the book, everyone. Please go get the book. We really need you to support. It's an amazing book, and it's actually a very easy read. It's not really hard to read at all. The reality check, you can find it. I think I found it on your website.
It's also on Amazon, so you can get it on Amazon. It's not a lot. It's like, I don't know, $19, $14, something like that for the ebook. So it's not expensive. It's Amazon, or it's on my website, which is HeidiHorvick.com.
Yeah, or the ebook. That's how I did it. I grabbed the ebook because it was instant, so it's perfect.
Ebook from HeidiHorvick.com. The ebook is $14 or something. Yeah.
Tell me more about this. What are we looking at right here?
So this is our trash can of limiting beliefs right here. We have a couple of these in the office, and basically the purpose of this is to change the mindsets of our patients. Our patients oftentimes come in and they feel like they're dependent upon these medications to live. The doctors give them, instill in them this limiting belief that they're on medication, they're going to have to be on this medication forever. It's genetic, it's whatever the reason is, and there's really nothing they can do about it. So when you're told that by an authority, pretty much you're going to listen and you're going to accept whatever they tell you.
Right.
So when a patient comes into our office, we try and look at what all of these different limiting beliefs are that people have in terms of health and on the medication, regarding the medications that they're taking, or just about what they think they can or can't do. And we really kind of break all that down and try and address it, and basically tearing down the medical model of that every answer to your health problem lies outside of you. And we replace it with a new vision and a new purpose for the patient that, hey, they're much more powerful than they really think they are.
Right.
They can live an incredible quality of life. So rather than being an unempowering system of healthcare, which our sick care healthcare system is, this is an empowering type of environment where we want to give the patients back the power. And so what this is we celebrate every time when people break down that limiting belief and they're actually able to get off of their medication. We have a big party in here, sing and applaud and celebrate every patient who breaks the shackles of tyranny and experiences true freedom, which is not being dependent upon something outside of you to feel, function, and heal.
I love that. This is awesome. And you said you have these kind of all over the office. So I imagine they're all pretty full.
Yes.
So
sure.
I'll ask you, what do you, as docs listening to this, some people don't want to touch the medication component of what patient care, right? Because we don't prescribe and we don't have the ability to take patients off.
Sure.
So how do you navigate that in a way that you stay within your scope of practice, but patients are still able to come off of medications and you can celebrate that win with them in your office? How do you move through that?
Well, it starts really with a mindset. So when a patient comes in, we first have to make sure that we're on the same page. And again, most of the times you're here and your patient's here. So how do you bridge that gap? Well, you have to get basically a common reality of like, really, how does your body work? What is true health really about?
Right.
And then once you establish that your spine and your brain and spinal cord run every other system in your body, and that system is primarily housed in the spinal column, well, now you can start to talk in a different way, and they get to start to understand, well, look, subluxations or postural problems will put pressure on their spinal cord and affects their physiology. It affects not just how they feel regarding pain. I know we're going to be getting to talk about painkillers and narcotics, but it really is, it affects how you function.
Yeah.
So once you have that common reality, then you can start talking about, okay, well, what kind of medication are you on? And we go really deep in that first consultation, and we're getting all of their different health problems, some that they're dependent upon medication for, and others that they're not. Then we do ask them, what kind of meds are you taking, and how long have you been taking them? Is this something that if you could get off of this medication, is that something that you'd like to achieve? Right. Find out really what are their goals, and sometimes they'll feel like, I'm just not ready for that. I can't do that. My doctor told me I've got to take this forever. High blood pressure runs in my family.
Right.
So we just kind of just reset how a person thinks about their health and what limiting beliefs they have. We want to find out all of those things first. Once you have a common reality, once you understand that, then you can start addressing these other issues related to dependency on medication. So it first has to come from the patient. Really, is that something that they would like to get off?
Right, exactly. Because they may not want to. They may feel so trapped in that system, like we spoke about earlier, that they don't see another side of that. Right. In their mind, their physicians have made them believe that they have to have this forever. So who are we to tell them that they don't have to?
And it doesn't happen in a day, Dr. Johnson. Sometimes when they're just meeting you, I don't come at the patient, hey, we're going to get rid of all of these meds that you take.
Right.
That would break rapport. That wouldn't result in a good outcome.
Right.
So it's building trust, and it'll happen over a visit or two, or even in some cases months or even years with the patient. And then they'll say, you know what, a light bulb sometimes just goes up and they're like, why am I taking this stuff? My blood pressure is totally normal. I wonder what would happen if I did reduce it. And we don't say, okay, hey, let's get you off of that.
Right.
We direct them back to their physician who put them on it and say, look, here's what I want you to do. Your blood pressure is actually low. Why don't you talk to your doctor tell them, first of all, you do have a desire to get off these medications, and my blood pressure is really low. What will it have to be before I can start reducing my dosage or getting me off these meds? That's generally what happens.
So you said something I thought was interesting, is you put the ball back in the patient's court. It sounds like you empower your patients to have those conversations with their other providers as well. Do you feel like that is a system that America as a whole, patients are trapped in, that they don't, they don't advocate for themselves in those spaces, and that they just are willing to accept anything? Is that something that you see quite often?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the healthcare system that we have, the way we have it in the U.S., it's an outside-in system. So, in other words, you have to take something outside to put it inside of you in order for you to be healthy.
Right.
And we're conditioned that from when we're babies, and just like watch our first drug ad on television. I think it's 1 out of 3 or 40% of ads now on TV are for medications.
Yeah.
So they're conditioning that whole system into you through social media and through ads on TV for you to believe that you are helpless, hopeless, and powerless, and you need something that a pharmaceutical company makes in order for you to be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, obviously not the way God intended, and it's
Not
not my belief at all. And we've proven that that's just absolutely not true.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about starting to, again, you have to break down those walls or all of those false belief systems and replace them with new empowerment, new identity for the patient, new belief systems that they really do have the power. So it's hard to do.
Right.
It's a process. We actually work at it with patients, and we talk about our patients in the office about how can we help them. This patient's just feeling totally stuck. They're completely a victim. What can we do to help them?
Right.
And you can't just go in and rescue them, because if you go and rescue someone who's drowning, they're going to take you down with them.
Absolutely.
And they're going to try and crucify you, at that
Right.
point. So you have to do it first. You have to validate what, the way they feel. They do have real feelings, and they believe these things. So it's not an easy process, but incredibly worthwhile and rewarding.
Yeah, absolutely. I can imagine. So I keep looking at this. I think how amazing this is. And I can't even imagine how many bottles of these are probably some type of pain pill, right? So that's obviously a crisis that we're have been dealing with for several years with the opioid crisis epidemic that we're having. I know that that's something that you're kind of up to date on as well with some of the things that are happening. And I hope to see that things do change, So that's the reason why we do this. And then obviously Relief Without Addiction, because we want patients to know that they have the option to live a drug-free, pain-free life. A lot of people don't know that.
Sure.
When you've done some research, what do you see the numbers saying in terms of how the opioid epidemic is going? Is that something, are we trending upward, or is the government taking notice? I do know that medical providers are now being held to a different standard when it comes to prescribing these things now, which is great. You can't just go to a pill mill, right, anymore.
Sure.
At least I hope not. But I don't know. I haven't looked at the research, but I know that you have. So can you share some of that data with us?
Sure. So there's about 115 deaths every single day from opiates. So opiates are still being used, and we're talking about narcotics. Mm-hmm. There's the cost to this of opioid misuse is $78 billion a year. And these are, again, some of these numbers are a few years old, so it's probably even higher now. 2015, there were 30,000 Americans that died as a result of opiate overdose. When this happens, you just have to think about the ripple effect of this. So it's not just affecting that one person, that the impact on the entire family unit and even beyond is just so massive. And again, it always goes back to the mindset behind it. Why are doctors doing this? Why are they prescribing these things that are dangerous when the truth is they're just not necessary?
Right.
In most cases, are they ever necessary? I don't know. I'm not a physician, so I don't prescribe them. But there's perfectly suitable substitutes for something that is so addictive. And why not try something that is not addictive, natural, has a better outcome short-term and long-term? And I'm obviously speaking about chiropractic. There's published data on chiropractic and how incredible that relieves pain. They did a study on open heart surgery patients who had a major open heart surgery, and 1 week later they started under chiropractic care. So I know many doctors tell my patients after a toe surgery, don't go to the chiropractor for a month until that thing heals, or whatever, various surgeries. I tell my patients, come on in, we can work around just about anything. Mm-hmm. As soon as you're well enough to get out of the house and come into my office, that's when you need to be here. Mm-hmm. So these open heart surgery patients, they started doing chiropractic after 1 week. Can you imagine a week after a major surgery? Again, I'm sure these doctors were not doing prone diversifieds on their chest.
Right.
But the outcome was that those people were took less pain medications. They had a better short-term outcome. They felt better faster. They got off of their pain meds much quicker, and they just felt and functioned better. So if it works on those patients, it's a fair extrapolation. It's probably going to work on just about any surgery, and people really need to be into the chiropractor's office as soon as they possibly can to start feeling and functioning at their best, even after a major surgery.
I 100% agree with you. So this is not a setup, folks. We did not plan this particular part of the conversation, but my mom had open heart surgery when I was in, so we were still in COVID. Everything was shut down. I was in student clinic. So my mom's been my first patient, right? It's my mom, my son, my husband, the whole family are my first student patients. And so she had a triple bypass. And she comes home, and I can't obviously take her to clinic. Everything's closed at the moment because I want to think it was June. So it was right after everything started in 2020. The only thing I had was an activator. And I was like, well, I took activator. I passed the class. I know I can't get you face down on the table, but we'll modify it a little bit and see what happens. So I say that to say she is in that statistic because I watched my mom take Tylenol after an open heart surgery. She healed very quickly. She had some lingering pains. Of course, she just had her sternum cracked open. But for the most part, she took Tylenol. It was absolutely amazing. And as soon as I was able to get her into clinic, she was in clinic, and we did activator protocol on her for probably like 3 or 4 months, just because obviously we don't want to thrust on her. And then now she's back to getting full spine adjustments, and she's happy, healthy, moving great. And she's like, I think I feel better than I did before I had the surgery. I'm like, well, yeah, you got new valves, but also we did what we needed to do while you were healing in that healing process. So thank you for sharing that with me, because awesome. I was not aware that study had been done. So I think she's going to be excited to listen to this. So shout out to you, Mom. Hi. Awesome. I love that. So I want to back up real quick. I wanted to ask you, when it came to changing the belief systems in your patients, do you find that one generation is different than another? Do you find that maybe like an older generation or the younger ones? And the reason I ask this is right now I think society is becoming a place where we're more aware. We have the ability to research things on our tablets. We are constantly connected. Netflix shows documentaries about the opioid crisis and, pointing very sharply at some of these big pharma brands, right? So I always wondered, do doctors that have been in this for a while see a shift? Is it the older generation that gets it, kind of the middle age, or the younger ones that are like, yeah, no, like how, have you noticed that?
I'll have to say it's different with every patient.
Okay.
And when I go in the room with someone, you try to just clear, like, it's not about me and it's not about my beliefs about that person based on their age or based on what they look like or whatever. It's not about that. So I don't know what they've experienced or what their belief system is when they first walk in. So that's what I really want to get to. I haven't, I think there's definitely some bias in there because maybe chiropractors attract, in general, making a generalization, they attract a certain demographic or a certain age group or something like that, more so than, let's say, if you specialize in pediatrics, obviously you're going to see more younger people. But so I'm not sure how to answer that exactly. Like I'll just say I haven't seen that in a significant way. Maybe old school, maybe older patients in general might be a little bit more old school, might be more traditional. Younger patients might be more open to different things. Very unscientific, however. So.
Yeah, I was just wondering because I know, like, typically with a younger patient, they don't usually have the list of medications that someone who's 65 and plus might have. So I didn't know if it was harder with the patients who are a little older, who do have a long health history and they have been told for 20, 30 years that they have to take all these things. If their conversation is a little bit more difficult, the breakthrough takes a little bit longer for them.
I see where you're going with that. Now I understand. And yes, the longer someone's been in a habit or been told something, the deeper that belief system is and the harder it is to tackle it. So yes, great point, Dr. Jackson. Yes, so that's true. So someone younger, it can be easier. Now, again, the older patients also, maybe they didn't start taking drugs when they were 4 years old or 3 years old. Like now there's so many mental health issues in patients now who tend to be younger than I think. I mean, I think almost every patient who comes in my office suffers from anxiety. It seems like anyone under 40 has an anxiety issue.
Yeah.
And I didn't see that when I first started practicing. So yeah, it's a great point. That's a great point. The longer that belief system is there, the harder it is to change.
Yes, I can imagine. Well, that's, interesting. Have you seen those documentaries or those shows on Netflix that I'm talking about?
Yeah, Dope Sick. And I haven't watched them all the way through, but I have seen them.
Yeah, sure. I think it's really interesting that we're getting that media is shining a spotlight onto this issue. And I'm like, okay, yes, now we're getting some traction, right? It doesn't always have to just come from us. And now all these little stories are popping up, these shows and doctors, whether they're surgeons or pill pushing doctors, and it's been quite interesting. Especially these last 2 years. I feel like we've had a boom in that. So I wish I felt like we were really moving the needle. Yeah, but you don't think we are. I mean, COVID, COVID made the pharmaceutical companies so much more wealthy. And now the ads, like I said before, there was 1 in 3 ads. Now I think it's over 40% of ads now are I mean, on every network you watch, you're going to see. I mean,
they're just slamming us right and left. They know not just the ads, they know on social media that they're controlling social media. They're running everything. So it's like, wow, we have a tough battle. But I'm not giving up. I mean, I'm still optimistic.
Right. Absolutely. I'm in the same boat with you. I'm like, okay, like if you guys want to talk about it, I want to talk about it too. Right. Like I would say, I want to make a documentary with all chiropractors, and let's really, if we're going to talk about it, let's talk about it. So, I just thought that was interesting. I hope that the federal government will put into some practices over the next, few years in the patient's best interest, right? Like this is not even just about us as chiropractors. It's really about patients. And I hate that we live in a sick care model. And it's really, really unfortunate to see that. And
it will not happen from the federal government because the federal government is paid by the pharmaceutical companies. I know. So I wish that was the case, but that's why nobody spoke out during COVID, except for like 2 people. Right. Everyone went right along with it because they're all getting money. Yeah. So if they're giving you 100, 200 grand for your campaign, you're going to just shut your mouth and go, okay, I'm not saying anything about Pfizer. Well, it's really sad. It is. But that's where we step in, right? We get to take care of our little corner of our cities, our communities, patient education, because I know that when we tell one patient and they get it, they tell their whole family. Absolutely. And then they share our message, right? Yes. And that's like the beautiful thing about chiropractic is if we plant the seed in one person and change their belief system and change how they feel and do this with them, they're telling everyone. Sure. I want to champion those patients. That's like something that I want, side note, Sequoia, like one day to have patients on the podcast speaking about this, because I think sometimes like we know, but it's easy to take for granted how much we are really saving people's lives. We said some of the things that you are going to do today in practice, you did not have the ability to do that. Some things surprised me. Like I think it was the MRIs that was in, what was that, the 90s that got passed. Like that was surprising to me. So, there's quite a bit of things. So I hate to hear that conversation. And I 100% agree with you that you're freeloading if you're not giving back. And don't sit over there and complain about it either. Just come join us.
I think the right to do MRIs is a little bit later than the 90s. It might have been 2000. I forget exactly, but it was late, and everything, all the therapies we wrote, and we don't care what association you belong to. When we pass legislation, everybody benefits. When the tide comes in, all the boats rise. And we have members that belong to our association and to other associations. There's nothing wrong with that. But understand, when we pass a law, if we pass something that says chiropractors can treat animals, it's not going to say only if you're a member of the GCA. Right. You're going to benefit if you're not a member of the GCA. Right. But we ask ourselves sometimes, why are we doing things specifically when we have a huge group that's not a member? Yeah. And so we would ask you to belong because it takes money to do this. Yeah. It just does. An effort. You can't keep leaning on the same 20, 30, 40 people who are doing a lot of the work for the entire profession. We have several thousand chiropractors in this state. There's enough, it's the commitment to join GCA is very small. You're probably going to spend more of it on lunch today than you would a month, right? So it doesn't cost a lot. No. And it goes such a long way. And, when you look at other professions that have, their practitioners pitching in and part of their state associations, they're in the millions, right? Like their dollars are millions of dollars, and we're trying to get there. So, and it's not because we can, it's just because we need you to join us. So, and the profession works tirelessly for you from 7 on Wednesday to 7 at night, from 7 yesterday to 7 at night. I was at receptions and breakfasts and dinner on behalf of this profession. Now, I can tell you, I saw no one else there that was representing any other association. It was just the Georgia Chiropractic Association. Mm-hmm. And all those functions are for committee members and for individuals, and they're very, very important. Mm-hmm. They're very, very important. How long, can you remind or tell our audience, for those of you who don't know Aubrey, how long have you been serving as our attorney for the GCA? I think 1979, a long time. I was 12.
You started early. That was before the child labor laws.
It was right out of the Army. So it's been a long time. And I think it was in 1979 that we passed insurance equality. It might have been 1980.
Okay.
And then we passed the therapies a few years later. We passed hot and cold, nutrition, nutritional advice, exercise. All these things did not exist in your law until the GCA wrote them in.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right to practice during COVID. You can thank Dr. Karen Mathiak for that one, because we weren't included in that. So
thank you for bringing that up. If you practice during COVID, you can thank the GCA. When we were included as essential providers, but we weren't initially. And a lot of states and a lot of jurisdictions, even in this state, we had people tell chiropractors they had to close down. We said, oh no, we're in the executive order that says we're essential providers. And Dr. Karen Mathiak, with us, but she led the fight, said, I'm going to make sure we're in there. And the GCA and Dr. Mathiak went to the governor, and the governor put us in there. So if you practice during COVID, don't say, I did it just because I'm a great doctor. No, you did it because we intervened on your behalf.
Because you wouldn't have had the ability to do that. So you're welcome.
That's a very important point. Thank you for bringing it up.
Absolutely, because people should know that. Aubrey, is there any other words of wisdom or anything else that you need us to know to get started for the new year, things that we should be thinking about, or anything you want to leave us with?
Just as I said, relationships.
Okay.
Just as I said, relationships with the legislators and relationships within the profession. It's okay if someone doesn't practice the way you practice. Something I've never understood and don't want to understand is chiropractors seem to get bogged down in how someone practices. And I'm a lawyer. I don't care if someone does real estate law or contract law and employment law or domestic law. They're just as good a lawyer as I am.
Right.
What type of practice you do does not define you as a person or as a chiropractor or as a lawyer. And someone wants to practice differently, it's fine. And the house is large.
Yeah.
We welcome everybody. We welcome everyone, and people are welcome to practice within the legal scope of their practice, or at the very minimal level. They don't have to do everything to scope.
Mm-hmm.
And I would ask everybody to respect that. Practice the way someone wants to practice and respect their right to do it.
That's right. That's what we fought hard for. Well, thank you so much, Aubrey.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining me today. It's been a great...
Always a pleasure to see you. You do a great job.
Same to you as well. All right. Thank you for tuning in. Our next interview we have coming up on this session is with Senator Rhett. So stay tuned for that and be on the lookout for our new legislative coming down the line. We'll see you at the Capitol on February 1st. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Our executive producer is Dr. Amber Jackson. Production staff is GCA Communications and Event Coordinator Sequoia Gonzalez. Our hosts are Dr. Deborah Little, Dr. Ben McDowell, and me, Dr. Amber Jackson. Special thanks to our podcast founder, Dr. Noelle Steinley, and Public Relations Chair, Dr. Naila Smith. We thank you for listening, and we want to hear from you. Please send us a comment or a question to sgonzalez@gachiro.org. You may be featured in a future episode. You can also find us on iTunes, Spotify, Audible, and the GCA website at gachiro.org. Please subscribe, rate, and review us. Don't forget to follow us on your social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are solely those of the participants and are not necessarily those of the Georgia Chiropractic Association or its employees.